and welcome to the Black Hat Bushcraft channel. I'm Matt Mercer and I appreciate you taking the time to tune in for this video. And this afternoon our project is to make a crayfish trap, and this is essentially like making a very basic basket. I've gone ahead and collected up a bunch of these green vines. They grow all around here. There's a ton of them wild muscadine vines, most of them. I believe this was a groundnut vine. It's not poison ivy, and that's the main thing I was concerned about. But I've gone ahead again and collected up a bunch of vines, and I've gone and cut some reeds which we're going to use for our uprights. And basically you have an odd number of uprights, and you can use 7, 9, 11, whatever you want. And then you use the vines to weave in between those uprights. So it's a fairly simple project, and basically it's going to funnel down to make our trap. So we're going to do that today. Hopefully it'll be fun. If you've never seen this, it'll give you some new knowledge, and if you have seen it and it's been a while, it'll be a good review. It's a good review for me. It's going to be fun. Let's get started. Alright, so I've got these uprights stuck into the ground in a circular fashion, and I just take my mallet at this point and just kind of tap them so they are lodged down in the ground really good and they don't move on me. Doesn't take much with that, just tap them down. And now I have my first runner here, and I'm going to start with the small end of the vine, and I just pick a spot right here, looks good to me, and I'm going to go over this upright with that end, okay? And that means I come behind this upright, and then I come in front of the next one, and I'll push those all the way to the ground. All right, and then I go behind this one, over this one, behind this one, over this one, behind this one, over and behind, and I make sure all that's pushed down to the ground. And now we're back to our original starting point, and so we're going to be doing the opposite this time. When we come over this time, what we went under or behind, we're now in front of, and so it gives us the opposite effect. And that's what creates our basket, basically, which is what a crayfish trap is, just in the shape of a funnel. And you just keep pushing that down to the ground, keep it nice and tight as you run this down, and that will hold everything into place. All right, and it's just a matter of continuing the same process. It's a little monotonous, but it's kind of fun to me at the same time. Weird idea of fun, I guess. So you just go over, under, over, under, and continue to push it down to the ground. And now we just have to keep repeating this process over and over. All right, so hopefully this gives you a better close-up. You can see when we started the first round, we went on the back side of this upright, and the next pass we came on this side. So every time we wrap this, we're going to come back on the opposite side, just like you can see here. And that gives us this nice basket effect. And as we make this, we're going to slowly start to taper these things inward to make a funnel shape, and that's what's going to create our crawfish trap. So I'm going to keep wrapping, and I'll bring you back soon so you can see my progress. Alright, so I've made quite a few passes here, and I've started to build my trap up. And what I'm going to do now is I need to create a taper. And I just have some really fine green roots that came off of one of those muscadine vines. And I'm going to come in here and tie this stuff down, because I want to create that taper with my trap, like this. So I'm just going to tie this stuff off. These vines are very green. So I just did an overhand knot. And now I'm going to do just a simple overhand right here. And that kind of brings that basket together in a cone shape, or like a funnel shape. I'm going to come back over and tie another overhand here. You have to use really green vines for this, otherwise they'll break off. Just kind of weave that in there any which way. All right, and as I go up, it'll hold itself in place. This is just a temporary binding. And so now the process gets a little more difficult, because I kind of have to feed this between these uprights here. So with this, there's not really any magic technique or anything. It's just a matter of feeding this vine through, over and under, continuing what we've already done, what we've already started. And the nice thing is, now that my basket is tapering, it'll get a little bit faster and it'll take a little bit less vine at this point, which is nice. So I'm gonna have to probably go collect some more stuff. It's a little bit sparse out here. There's a lot of dead vines out here, but you can't use that because it'll break off. It's not flexible enough, and it's early spring, so it's just this stuff is just starting to really come out. So there's not a ton of it out here yet. That was under, so just over. We're almost to the end of that vine, and that's when we have to introduce a new piece. And what I do is I just kind of feed that one in like that, push everything down, and now we just get another piece of vine. All right, so I think I stopped right here, so I'm going to go back 2 of my uprights, and I just take that and feed it in. And now we're going to run that through. Now that I've got a new vine, it's going to be a little bit slow going because I've got a longer vine that I've got to weave through here. Once you get it going, it starts to go smoother. All right, so I just get that one in place where I want it. And now we just continue our process over and under. And that's how you start a new vine. There's nothing special to do, just back up a couple of uprights and just kind of retrace your steps. So the main thing when you start a new piece of vine is that you continue the right pattern. You know, make sure if you were going over, you continue to go over and so forth like that. All right, so at this point I've stopped wrapping at the bottom, and as you can see, I have started to weave from the top a little bit. And I've used the finest vine that I had, really green stuff that I just collected, in order to make it really flexible enough that I can weave this. And what I'm doing is just closing my cone in for my basket here, and then I'll come back to the bottom and work my way up to this. But I just want to make sure I have a nice tight wrap here with multiple layers at the small part of this basket. And again, using that really fine vine that I collected. And then I can go back to the thicker stuff and kind of wrap my way up to this. If you try to pull this stuff tight, like bank line or paracord or something like that, you'll snap it right off. So you have to kind of be a little bit delicate with it. The nice thing is, if you do snap it off, you just get another piece and keep on wrapping. It's not the end of the world. That's looking really nice though. It's going to be a nice tight basket here. So it's a little bit of a tedious process, this type of thing, but it turns out to be a nice project when you finish. Something that you'll be proud of and something that you can use. Catch us some crayfish and boiling things up. Man, this will all be worthwhile. Have a nice low country boil. That'll give you some motivation to make a basket in a hurry. Corn on the cob, crayfish. Throw some sausage in there, man. Hot dog. Sounds like an episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen coming right there. Alright, so what we have here is a wild muscadine vine, or some people call it water vine, because if you find these vines when the sap is flowing, you can cut them and they'll actually drip sap pretty quickly actually, so you can actually consume that, and it's like fresh water. Actually has a nice flavor to it. But these grapevines actually grow these little roots that come off the vine, and this vine is like head height to me, so it's like 6 feet up off the ground, but all these little roots will grow out. This is really fine stuff right here, and it'll go all the way down and hit the ground and take root. And this is one right here that's actually made it to the ground, and it has taken root right there, and it runs all the way up here 6 feet to the vine, and that vine continues to travel up way up into that tree right there. So this is some really cool stuff. These little roots right here are super flexible and actually fairly strong material. So it's ready-made cordage when you're doing stuff like making baskets and so forth. And it makes little withies and things like that that you can really improvise good cordage with. So I'm going to take some of these and finish our basket off with them because they're more flexible than that woody part of the vine that I was using. So you can see what that looks like there. Just an awesome resource if you have it in your area. Now, as tempting as it is, I won't take all of these because I want to leave some for the plant itself so it can continue to grow, and I can continue to come back to this spot and harvest this type of material. So I just take some of them, and then I'll find another spot where I can get some more. I don't want to take too many, and the one that actually made it to the ground, I'll leave that one alone. Just take the longest couple here. Okay, and so now I have some to work with, and the rest I'll leave for the vine. All right, and that way we don't deplete the resource, and it'll be here for me when I need it again. So I just cut these pieces just a minute, maybe two ago, and you can see that sap already starting to drip, and that's on a very small root. So when you cut the vine, you get an amazing amount of liquid out of that. You can see this right here is about to drip. See that? So just out of that one little piece of root, you can see what we got, and that's consumable, and that's actually like fresh water. It actually has a little bit of a sweetness to it coming from the vine. There's another piece over here that I cut. You can see it's starting to drip right through here and right through here. All right, so as you can see, I've weaved the last runner in. At the very end, I just kind of haphazardly went across back and forth between these, and I just pushed the end back down into my weave. Now at this point, all we have to do is carefully remove our uprights out of the ground. All right, and there we go. There's our crayfish trap. We had a few pieces of the vine that broke. And that's just the nature of working with natural material. Now what we have to do is put our cross pieces through in here. We'll cut these off, and this will be a done deal. All right, so here's our finished crayfish trap. You can see what it looks like. It's all filled in nice. All the gaps are taken up. And what I've done to finish this off is I've just inserted some stakes here through and created basically a trap in the funnel. So I've left a space here for the crayfish to climb in to get to the bait, but when he tries to come back out, he's kind of barricaded in. These are, it's hard to tell, but they're kind of tilted back. And so I'm hoping that this method will work. Now, this is not tested yet, so I do have to take this out and put it in the water and test it, but I believe that it's going to work well just based on what I know about crayfish and these types of traps. I think this is going to do the job, but I'll update you guys. Of course, I'll be posting when I get this thing in the water soon. I'm going to put this in an irrigation pond that's here on our property. But another good place for it is in ditches. Whenever the ditches are holding water, a lot of times you'll see those crayfish mud huts start to build up, and that's a good indication that you have crayfish in that location. Always set traps on sign, right? No different with this. And so ditch banks, again, are a good place to look and to set these traps down in the water. If you have water that may have a current, it would be a great idea to attach cordage to the back of this and create a stake and stake it down, just so all your hard work doesn't go washing out somewhere and get lost. And of course, you would want to check this trap frequently, just in case you do get some crayfish in it before they might find their way out or something might get them out. You want to make sure that you take full advantage of your work and receive your catch. But this is just a lot of fun. It's a good skill because it translates to other things. Basket making, you could scale this up to make a fish basket trap. All kinds of possibilities with this technique. It's very simple. Actually, right now in the spring is an excellent time to practice this because the sap is starting to run and the vines are starting to really climb, and you can get a hold of the material, and it's very flexible and pliable right now. So it's a really good time to go out and make yourself this type of project. But it's been fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope it's giving you an idea or some ideas of things that you might do next time when you go out in the woods. Of course, I appreciate you guys very much for taking the time to tune in. By the way, if you have not subscribed or followed me on Instagram, I post there almost daily. I post video and picture content. There's always some conversation going on there. So I hope you'll follow me on Instagram if you use that platform. And of course, Facebook. On both of those platforms, I post almost daily. You can find me under the name Black Hat Bushcraft. Don't forget to click that subscribe button down below, and don't give me the thumbs down, but give me the thumbs up if you liked the video. And I will look forward to talking to you guys with another video again very soon. I'm going to keep my content as regular as I can for you, and I hope that you'll keep tuning in. You guys take care, be safe, and until the next one, as always, God bless.